In the park, Amy tells Audra and Nate she's more hopeful about the future and it's all due to him. Nate tells her it's about her positive attitude too. Amy reveals she's come to a decision about her future. Audra hopes Amy is going to move there. Amy says yes, she'll relocate to Genoa City. Audra hugs her, thrilled. Nate couldn't be happier, for her and for them. Amy wants to be close to her son and Audra tears up. Nate teases that his girlfriend is a big softie at heart. Audra marvels that Amy didn't even think she'd survive long enough to see her son again. It's a gift. Amy chokes up. She wants to spend time with her new friend and the man she considers her second son. They do a group hug. Damian asks a favor. At the club, Damian tells Lily he fears he's about to lose his best friend. He's meeting Holden and has to tell him he's lost his job. Lily snarks that he should have told Dumas to do it himself. He reminds her Dumas didn't even fire him himself. Talk turns to Audra. Damian says Amy adores her. Lily asks what she can do to help where Holden is concerned. He hates to ask, but would they have a position at Winters for him? He feels responsible for Holden and wants to soften the blow. Lily feels partly responsible too. It was her idea to have him spy on Dumas, which probably got him fired. Damian should have known better with Dumas. He notes she didn't look thrilled about the idea of hiring Holden. Lily has to think about where he'd fit in and talk to Devon and Nate, but it shouldn't be a problem to put him in the hotel division with Damian. He thanks her profusely. Lily wonders how Holden will feel about him being his boss. Audra told her that Holden said Damian had a temper. Damian's never had anyone in his life to balance him out or talk him down. It would be nice to have that kind of person in his life. He looks at her, real nice? Holden erupts. Lily teases that she hopes Damian doesn't put that on his dating app. Damian hasn't been on one. He likes meeting people face to face. Lily agrees. She appreciates his honesty about his temper. He feels comfortable being open with her. Lily feels the same way. She asks why he's been single for so long. Damian chuckles. He likes that she's curious. Just then, Holden arrives. Lily leaves so they can talk. Holden sits and asks Damian if this is about work. Damian tells him Dumas fired them. Holden swears. I was right. You did throw me under the bus, didn't you? Damian protests that he fired them both. Holden thinks he took the fall for Damian's attempt to leave Dumas for Winters. Damian explains that he's hoping he can follow him to Winters. Holden grunts, no thanks. He's ditched him and their friendship for some woman he barely knows. Damian reminds him of all the times he picked him up. Holden complains that he let him do his dirty work while he got the glory. It's time for them to make a clean break. Cole's cough. At the tack house, Claire and Victoria fuss over Cole, who is coughing his brains out. Victoria coaxes him to keep his fluids up. She's worried about him. Nothing is making this flu better. Cole admits this is worse than before as he coughs for an extended period. Claire and Victoria exchange a look. Victoria gets on the phone and then reports that the doctor has agreed to see Cole. He feels like he got hit by a truck. Victoria and Cole debate whether it's more than just a bug. Cole protests, but he can't even finish his sentence for coughing and groaning. The doctor arrives and Victoria and Claire run down Cole's symptoms as the doctor examines him. The doctor declares that Cole's lungs don't sound good. They'll need to get him to the hospital. Claire and Victoria are disturbed to learn it might be pneumonia. As the car is pulled around, Cole argues with Victoria, who wants to go to the hospital with him. Claire urges her father to listen to the doctors so he can get better. I love you. Cole says, I love you too, Claire. He's the luckiest man in the world. Kyle signs a deal with the devil. At the ranch, Victor answers his phone and says, send him in. Kyle enters and admits he's pleasantly surprised to have received an invitation. Victor warns him not to be so pleased until he's heard his response to his proposal. Kyle tells him he'll do anything to make Claire happy. Victor says he's willing to agree to his contract. Kyle's surprised. He expected bad news. Victor says the only bad news will be when he hurts his granddaughter. Kyle says it won't happen. Victor holds up a contract and says if he hurts Claire, he'll pay him $5 million and leave town. I'm impressed, Victor says, that you're willing to make that kind of commitment. Maybe I've been wrong about you all along. Kyle wants to send the contract by his guy. Victor guesses he wants to make sure there's an out. Kyle suddenly decides that he doesn't need to have it looked over. He asks why Victor hates him so much. Is it because he's Jack's son or some other reason? He wants to know because he loves Claire, but everything he says and does isn't good enough for him. Victor grunts, "Let's get going," so Kyle signs the contract. Victor reminds him if he breaks Claire's heart, he'll have to abide by it. They shake hands and Kyle exits. Lily and Nate talk to us. At the park, Nate tells Amy she can stay with him until she finds a new place to ship her things to. Audra would really miss her if she was gone. Amy agrees to the plan, and she and Audra decide to go for lunch. Lily appears and they tell her Amy's moving to town. Lily's thrilled. Audra and Amy leave, and Nate asks Lily what she makes of Dumas' invitation. What does she think he's up to? Lily admits it threw her for a loop. Nate thinks it sounds sketchy. Lily wants to go to find out what he's up to. Nate thinks he's getting in her head, but understands. He'll hold down the fort. Lily's surprised he and Audra weren't invited, but she's not upset about Audra though. Nate thinks she'll one day see what he does. Lily's not so sure. Nate asks her to get a selfie with Dumas. He's dying to know who he is. Lily murmurs, "You and everybody else." Nate fishes to find out if she's met anyone yet. Grinning, she insists nothing has happened with her and Damian. Swerving, Lily says Damian's breaking the news to Holden this morning. He's wondering if there's a spot for him at Winters. Nate doesn't trust the guy. Lily points out he'd be doing it for Damian, and she feels responsible for getting them fired. Nate marvels that Dumas suddenly seems a hand in everything going on in this town. Lily says that's why they're going to France. Nate fears it could be a wild goose chase, but Lily asserts that failure isn't an option. Audra interrupted. Amy and Audra arrive at the club as Holden walks out on Damian. Audra steps away to take a call from Victor, who wants to see her now. She tries to reschedule, but he barks, "I said now." She tells Amy and Damian she has to go and trots out. Amy and Damian discuss Holden. Damian sees his point and he feels responsible for the mess. He explains he's more like a brother than a friend. Holden was the only person he completely trusted. Amy is here for her son now. Damian tells her he'll have to handle this on his own. She still wants to help. Damian suggests they figure out a peace offering for Holden. Amy thinks the answer is in his heart. Audra sees an opportunity. Audra shows up at the ranch and asks about the urgency of Victor's summons. Victor warns her when he asks for a meeting, she needs to just say yes. He complains that she hasn't done a damn thing to convince his granddaughter that Kyle's a bad guy. She says these things take time. Victor warns something better happened before he gets back from France. Audra muses about the top players in town getting invited to Dumas' summer home. She thinks getting Kyle out of town for a bit would help her plan. She asks Victor to make sure she and Kyle get invited to France. She'll take care of the rest. Kyle arrives at the tack house and Claire tells him her dad has gone to the hospital. The doctor thinks it might be pneumonia. They may have to admit him. Kyle's sure that Cole's a strong guy and will pull through just fine. They embrace. Claire tells Kyle how much she loves her dad. She can't fix his suffering or give him back the time he lost with her. Kyle assures her she's a great daughter now. Claire asks how his meeting went with Victor. He says it was fine. She just needs to focus on her dad. A compromising position. Audra finds Holden on the coffee house patio and notes his message sounded desperate. He appreciates her showing up and asks her to have a seat. She reluctantly does so. What's so urgent? Holden reminds her she said she'd be his friend. I could really use one right now. Audra knows he was fired and sympathizes. Holden complains that Damian used him to get what he wanted there and then threw him away like trash. He didn't know who to call, but Audra's the only person who's ever gotten to know him. You can leave if you want. Audra reaches across the table and takes his hand at the ranch. Victor looks at the Dumas invitation, thinks, and then throws it down on the table with disdain.